Alright, welcome back to the second tutorial in the iGame series. This time we are going to be looking at Project 2, which is the clicker game. So, just like last time, we're going to start off by choosing a character or a sprite that we want to use as well as a background. So, again, to change your sprite, you'll make sure it's highlighted down here in the window. Go down to this button over here, click Choose a Sprite, and now you can choose whatever you'd like in here. And remember, you can always go back and change this later if you'd like to. So for mine, I'm going to use the baseball. So now we have a baseball and the cat that comes with it. In order to get rid of the cat, just like last time, we'll click down on Sprite 1, and then we'll click the delete icon that pops up in the top right of the sprite. Now we're left with just one sprite. Now you can go ahead and select a background if you'd like to. To do that, you go to the bottom right of the screen and click on Choose a Backdrop. For mine, I think I'm going to just go with the forest background. So now we have one sprite or character and one background on the screen. So with our character or sprite selected, we're going to begin our programming, and we're going to start this by making a score variable just like we did in the first tutorial. If you remember, to do that, we're going to go down to the Variables tab, click Make a Variable, and then we're going to name it Score. We'll want to make sure that for all sprites is still selected. That's what it'll default to, so we're just going to leave that, and then click OK. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and start programming our player. So we'll make sure it's still selected down here, which it is. We are going to go to when the sprite is clicked. So that's in the Events tab. When this sprite clicked, click and drag and drop it anywhere into our programming window. We are then going to go to the Sound tab and click and drag Start Sound Pop. Now, you'll notice on these sound blocks that you can also record your own audio, which is a more advanced feature of Scratch. So if you want to choose your own audio, you can always click on Record and do that. For me, I'm just going to leave it with Pop because that's good with me. We're then going to go down to our Variables tab, and we are going to change my variable by 1. Drag that in here. And just like in the first tutorial, we'll want to make sure that we change my variable to score, which is the variable that we made at the beginning. So we're going to now add some additional programming to this that'll be separate of what we just did up here. We're going to start off in the Events tab with when green flag is clicked. You'll drag that anywhere else in here. As long as it's not connected to this, you can put it anywhere you'd like. We're going to go down to our Variables tab. This time, set my variable to 0. Click and drag it onto when the green flag is clicked. Change my variable to score. So what this is going to do is initialize the score variable. So every time that we restart the game, it's going to reset our score counter that's shown up here back to 0. If we did not do this, the score would continue to rise and would never go back down again, which we don't want. Next thing that we are going to do is grab a forever loop. So we're going to go down to the Control tab, Forever, click and drag it under Set Score to 0. And again, a forever loop is going to allow whatever programming we add inside of it to continue on forever, over and over and over again until you stop the game. We're then going to go up to the Looks tab. Down here at the bottom, we have Change Color Effect by 25. We're going to click and drag that inside of our forever loop. So it should look like that. Now, towards the end of the tutorial, you can always go back and change these numbers to experiment and see what happens. So maybe later on you want to do change color effect by 70. Maybe you want to change, and instead of the color, you're going to make it do one of these different actions. That's always something that you can do later on if you want. Pretty fun to mess with. Next, we are going to go up to the Motion tab and click and drag the Go to Random Position. This will go under the change color by 25, but still inside of our forever loop. So make sure it's orange, purple, blue. It should not be in a different order. Lastly, we need to wait 1 second. So we're going to go down to our Control tab. At the very top, we have wait 1 second, and we're going to drag that under the go to random position, but also still inside of the forever loop. And again, later on, if you want to go through and maybe you want it to wait 3 seconds or something, you can always change that and experiment and see what happens. So once you have the programming done, we can go ahead and click play. Our ball is going to bounce around and change colors. If you click on it, it'll increase the score and make that popping sound. So it's changing colors and moving around the screen pretty quickly. And as you see, it changes colors each time I click it, and the score increases by 1 each time. Go ahead and click the stop button on here. And you'll notice if I hit play again, that score is going to also reset to 0 because we told it to do so when we said set score to 0. So as long as your game looks like that, everything should be correct, and we'll see you in the next tutorial.